Hello everyone, and you in particular. How are you? This is Tech Down Over, episode number 39, I think?
38.
38. I'm always one ahead because I know what the future brings. This is episode number 38. I am joined by my good friend, Geoff Blanchard. Hey Geoff, how are you?
Good, thank you.
What a week. I've gone through a roller coaster of up and downs on Panasonic, on Canon, on this beautiful camera, which for a while I did not like. We will talk about that in a moment. And you have it right there in your background too. That same camera. So, well, here we go. And we are back in all our glory today. Geoff, you and I have been talking a lot about the Canon C100 Mark II, and then about a week or two ago I started bitching about this camera. I was complaining. This is the Panasonic HC-X-1000, which by the way is actually a good camera. It's a very good camera. But I was really complaining about it. I was complaining it was too dark. It didn't have enough light. It wasn't that good. And then I watched a video yesterday of a guy who did a night shooting of a city scene with cars and buses and people just hanging around and sitting. And I've seen this video about 3 or 4 times in the past, but I never really paid attention to what he was saying, which was, I'm shooting this at 1/30th of a second on shutter, my ISO is this, my gain is this, and I went, whoa, he's changing his shutter. And he goes, and my exposure is wide open. Whoa, wait, that means something. I have never played with shutter on this particular camcorder. I've had a lot of Canon camcorders, professional ones. I've only touched shutter when I wanted to have more of an effect. Like I want to look more slow motion-ish, or I want to speed something up. But I've never really played with shutter as an aid to exposure, at least on a camcorder. On a DSLR, sure, the shutter does make a difference. But on the camcorder, I never really ran into that. Even on the FZ-1000, I never ran into it on the Panasonic. But on this one, because you know, on the FZ-1000, you can open that quite a bit, and you don't really need to play with shutter. It's bright. This one has, I think it's an 18 to 400 millimeter lens, if I'm not wrong. It's not quite a super zoom, but awfully close. And this thing at the 18 millimeter is f1.8, so it's a very bright, fast lens. And I'm shooting with it going, why is it so dark? Why is it dark? I hate this camera. It's not working well. $3,500 down the tube. And then, after watching that video, it was about 10:30 at night. I had my second window already, and I'm saying, let me try that. I tried it. And next thing I know, I'm shooting all around the house. I'm just having a blast. And it's coming in beautifully. The colors are very rich and saturated. The darkness went away. It looked very bright, even in a dark condition. And the only thing I noticed is when I played with ISO, I upped my ISO, then everything was going tuck, 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 tuck. Did you ever try that? Yeah. When you raise the ISO, the sensitivity gets kind of blurry-ish, and everything looks like it's in staccato. So I lowered the ISO, and lo and behold, it was shooting smoothly, beautifully in low light, no distortion. I shot some things with moire, no moire. I went, wow, this is actually a pretty darn good camera. Operator, stupid. Camera, good. So anyway.
Well, the thing is, I find with the HC-X-1000, you actually can use all the features. Like all those features are on the Canons we do have, the XA25s and the XA10s, but they're that far hidden into the camera. When you switch them on, you don't use them. Whereas that camera has them all up there. But if you're on manual, you will be. It remembers them. It keeps the settings. Where a lot of the other cameras, every time you switch them on and off, it resets. Right. And that's why I usually say, if I always get stuck with that, click it onto the auto for a second to get it back into what it thinks is okay, switch it off again, and then that sort of resets it. But the thing I like with the Panasonic is that I do have that control. I have the same control with that shutter speed with this Canon, but it's so damn awkward to get to.
Right.
And if you don't do it right, you can't find it. Whereas on the, you were saying also as well, with the menu settings, that I know with the, you don't like too many menu settings. You like more buttons like I do.
Yep.
With the Panasonic, I find there's, the main buttons on there, there's a shutter button and a little wheel at the side. So you don't have to, if you hit the shutter, you can just play around with the shutter and you can see it, but you can just see the effect on the screen if you don't even see the actual setting. And then click onto the, to the gain. And of course, the higher the gain, the more noise you get, but then you have to mess around with your shutter. But it's the first camera I've had that I've actually been able to use the manual settings, because I don't have to fight to find in a menu. They're all there in the menu in sometimes, but there's like the Canon, there's I forget how many programmable buttons there is on this Panasonic, but I've got a few of them set up to things I want. And one of the features I like that seem to have disappeared on cameras years gone past is a backlight button.
Yeah. Now, what do you use that one for?
Well, just when in front of, if you don't want it to overpower when somebody's standing in front of a window, and that like you used to in the old cameras. But most of them these days, it automatically cuts down and does the job for you. But sometimes you still want that, so you're not getting too much of a silhouette and that. But it's just one thing that a lot of cameras don't have. It's embedded into the menu there, but you can assign it to the. Into the menu is when I'm playing around with it after the filming, but there's not a lot of time I need to go into the menu while I'm filming, because you've got that shutter, the shutter speed on that wheel. But once you learn those few things, I'm still quite impressed with the camera. And like you said, with the FZ-1000, it was much easier, but it's not as easy to change that. I think you have to use your menus to flick to the to change it a bit easier, whereas this one is designed to, and I find I don't like putting it on automatic, because if I put it on automatic, it doesn't do the right things for me. It's much easier to use in the manual mode, and let's face it, that's why we paid that much money for. If we just wanted to click it on automatic, we just leave. We've got cameras that can do that.
And I've had the Canon XL2, which is a pretty large camera. We sold that a long time ago. Actually, we sold that to the guy who did all of the background graphics and video, all of the B-roll video for the NCIS show.
Oh, okay.
So it's really interesting. He happened to be in the store, and he wasn't in the store. We sold it back to Sammy's, and that guy came in an hour later and bought it, and he got a great deal on it. And it was a very nice camera. It's a big camera and had replaceable lenses. So that was probably their first. The XL1 and the XL2. Do you remember those? They were shaped like a V, and they were very nice cameras. But for us, it was kind of overkill what we needed at the moment, and we were changing over to the XH-A1s at that point. So we figured, let's get rid of the XL1 because it didn't do HD back then. The XL2 was not really an HD camera. It was still, it did a little bit of HD, but it didn't do it that well. It didn't do true widescreen well. It would just crop the sensor a lot. And so we got rid of it. Great camera. And then we got the XH-A1s, which look a lot like this. So this looks a lot like the XH-A1s, which was a beautiful camcorder. You had the 3 rings, and I love the rings. Rings. We are lord of the rings with these things, because with rings you can do whatever you want. You can do your iris, your focus, and your zooming. And you can do it all at once if you're really good with 3 fingers, but I wouldn't try that.
And what I like with that one there is just on the lens, is the button on the lens for the iris control is easy to access. So you just press it, puts it back into auto iris. Press it once again, and it's easy to adjust it. So and with my eye. And sometimes you don't see it so well, so I'll put it on automatic, see what it thinks. And and in some situations you just haven't got time to react manually, so you want the auto power on it. But it's nice to know you can easily click that and quickly adjust it, on the fly.
And in my testing today, last night, I noticed that when I do go into auto versus manual, the one thing it does pretty well, it does very good gain adjustment, and it puts you in the right mode. So if you're in a night situation, auto isn't bad if you don't have the time to do manual, I would say it gets you about 90% there. It's
exactly. I think that fella who did that night shot, he did one of them. Switch. Is that the one where that lady's on the
sitting in the dark? Yep.
Yeah, and she's in darkness when he starts off.
Yep.
And it's quite impressive how, and the noise is not there.
No, really, and you can almost see her features. And she is sitting in the dark.
And you keep saying,
she is sitting in the dark.
I did one with the horse the other day, and there was a little bit of noise in that. And the reason why that was because the shutter speed, I couldn't crank up the shutter speed, or else I would have that staccato. And when the horse is moving, you didn't want that, so I had to sacrifice that. So I got a little bit of blare in it, but it still gave a little bit of noise. But
the only thing I noticed on the one you did with the horses is that the focus kept it pretty good, but it kept getting a little confused between the rider and the horse.
Yeah,
sometimes they were both in focus. Other times the horse really looked great, and the rider was just slightly blurry, not that much.
Yeah,
and then within a half second or a second, he was back to really sharp, and occasionally the horse would slightly go out. So you could tell that the lens is trying to adapt to who's in focus, and of course the horse is ahead of the rider. What is it, about 3-4 feet ahead of the rider?
Yeah, I've tried that, doing it manually, and it's 3/4 the way out of focus when I do it.
Oh, really?
I'm looking, thinking it's in focus, and it's very hard to do on a moving shot. So for those little things that you think, well, it's far better to let the camera do that, because I've tried before thinking, oh no, I want to stick onto the manual focus, and that's okay if you're doing it onto a shot that's not moving, or so if there's trees going in front of you, you don't want the autofocus to kick in. But when there's something moving and you're trying to follow it, it's pretty better to use the autofocus on the camera.
So tell me, you have right around your, I don't think you're using it right now, but you have it with you, that is the Enduro, the tripod that you got. Do you still have that? Do you have that with you to show?
That's where the camera's on.
Oh, your camera's on the Enduro. So, okay, we talked about it in the last show. So for all of you who didn't catch the last show, and you don't know what we're talking about, go back and watch the last show, and then you'll find out. What do you think of the Enduro?
And just another thing, just to say how easy it is to to adjust. Before we came on air, I had a problem with my camera, so my camera's on a funny angle. But so when this is straight, but according to when I see it, it's on like the like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. But I had to do that to make the view straight on the shot. But that's even adjusted there. But it's so nice and solid, and I put my Manfrotto 502 fluid head on it. But it's just so solid.
Now what camera do you have on it right now?
That's the HC-X-1000.
Oh, that is actually the one you're using.
No, that's that's what's on the
that's
tripod.
Behind you. That's
I'm
on the
using
tripod.
a Canon XA10 for filming this, but this is just showing off.
And the Canon XA10, I'm looking at your colors and the background, and it still looks great. It's a darn good camera.
It is the XA10. I still love that camera. There's no way I'm going to get rid of it, because I'm using it for doing these podcasts. But also, it's good when I want to use it as a B camera. And I think I did a direct message to you during the week and was saying about cameras, and I'll still want the C100 Mark II, until I'll say have that as the A camera.
Right.
The HC-X is the B camera. The Canon is the C, and they said the FZ as the D. And as I said, the only reason I want for the 1000 as the D is because it will only record for 29 minutes, but these ones will record for I think about 5 hours on the AVC HD. I'm just going to try that on that instead of 4K to see what quality I get. But it's like you can get about 5 hours on that onto a 64 gig card.
Yeah. So I'm going to make a prediction. Okay, here's my prediction. Geoff will be using 3 different cameras. He will be spending much time in speed grade. Okay, down back.
Yes, well, now with the update of Premiere Pro, they've got the color correction that you can do quite easily,
They've
and
added
you
a
can
lot
match
of
it.
they've added a lot of speed grade into it, right?
But what it's done is, what I like with it, which you could not do before, you could do it in a certain sort of way, but you know, in Premiere, if you just want to, you've got a shot, you just want to change the color. Well, like I did with that horsey thing, you know, there's about 50 shots that are all from the same camera.
Sure.
And so when you just apply that color grade to that one shot, or else you can go back to the main clip and apply it. But within the new version, there's just a clip to say, do you want to apply this to just this clip or to all of the clips from the original? And you can say apply it to all. So you only have to do it once. It's really great. You don't have to go. So I used to love going to the speed grade, did a great job, but it was a bit awkward to do for if you're not a true professional like me. I'm not doing that. But now with the color correction in Premiere Pro, it just makes things so easy. And that's what I did with that horsey one. I had one of my cameras that I couldn't be bothered trying to make it match too well, so I thought, I'll do it a bit arty, do it black and white. So just after I'd put it all together, just clicked on one clip, so say make the whole clip black and white, and it just did it over the whole project.
Wow, that's pretty
you can
good.
just say, it's so much easier now than, and it's quite funny when you see all these little changes coming into products like Final Cut and Premiere Pro, how you turn the TV on and the next day you say, yep, 3D graphics, I can see they're using that. Yep, I can see. It's amazing how such little things you notice now. As soon as a new feature comes, you can see, yep, they've already jumped on that. Somebody's doing that professionally.
It's true. And you know what's funny? After a while, when you work a lot with video, you start seeing the actual FX Factory and everything else they're using, the plugins.
Yes, you do.
I know exactly what that one is. Oh, look, he's using that. Oh, that's $40 one. That's a that's a $100 plugin.
It is, and you just hear all the sound effects. Oh yes, I've got that stock audio because I just keep hearing that. That sounds familiar. Oh, that's right. That's the one I put on one of mine because everybody licenses them from the same place, sort of thing. So. Always goes around. I used to think that there was, you always see this one here, but everybody's using the same sort of things.
But
there's enough around that you don't come across them too often there.
That's true. Though there are some on podcasters, especially where they use the same thing. Over 42 podcasters, that's the same intro music. So you're going, wait a minute, I've heard that before. Where have I heard that before? It's interesting.
Yeah, when you think if you did have that sound, then you heard it a few times, you'd go away and change it a little bit. So.
Now we have a couple of videos.
You've just changed your intro and your outro, haven't you?
A couple of times. We didn't change this one because this one's just beautiful. We like this one. But we did change the one for Lectora Live, and I think we have a new one also for Life Edge.
Yes, you did, and it was very nice.
So I love Revo stock. We're getting a lot of our After Effects animations from Revo stock, and then we just modify them, and it's really pretty easy to do. Now, we do have some stuff for some products that you sent us. Which one do you want to talk about first?
Well, the one thing I was looking around when we did the other week, looking at cameras, and I came across this one called the Lily drone. And I don't know if you saw that, but a while back we saw a product which had a little radio-controlled armband that you put on, and it controlled like a motion control head on your tripod, so it would follow you.
Yeah. And this is small. It looks pretty small.
It is this drone, but this one goes similar to that camera. But what it does, it attaches. You put this on and you throw this drone up in the air. Just throw it up in there, in the air, and then it starts, and then it follows you.
Wow!
And so you don't have to.
We actually have a video.
I can see.
We have a video
actually
of it.
see some funny things happening with this, but
yeah. Well, you know what? We have a video of it, so why don't we? Play the video.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
So,
that's pretty cool.
you know what? I can see me buying one of them, doing that bridge shot, and mine just falling down to the rocks and smashing. Oh, you forgot to put the battery, switch it on.
I like right at the beginning when the guy jumps off, I mean, he throws it up in the air, then jumps off the cliff and he's skiing. And, you know, they usually go about 60, 70 miles an hour on those. And it looked pretty cool how it kept up with him, and it's a system. It's amazing. I think it flies for 20 minutes.
Yeah, and what it said, it does the 1080p in HD, or 60 frames a second, or the 120 frames a second for your slow motions, but only at 720k. And it can do 12 megapixel stills on that as well. So, and as you said, it's got a 20-minute battery life. Then it has a 2-hour charge time on that, and it says maximum altitude of about 50 feet.
50 feet, yeah.
And what's a minimum of about 5 feet. I'm not too sure how the control, whether it just knows that. It does say it doesn't have the a collision system, avoidance system.
It doesn't,
so if you're going through trees, you're going to kill it. It said just watch out. So you've got to make sure you've got a clear area, because it will not, you know, if you're going round things, it more than likely it says it will crash into things. So it doesn't have a guidance thing to avoid these different things. So I said, not too sure how you change the settings, but I did like that thing where it's waterproof. How many drones have you heard of that just run out of battery and they'll drop it in the water and they've lost them? But I like that where he threw it in the water and it took off from the water.
And the
price, they're saying it's going to be about $5.99. So
was it $4.99 or $5.99?
$5.99. Well, I saw on that, but.
Which isn't too bad, and it's about a foot long, so it's not that big. It just looks like especially when they throw it out, it just looks like an interesting toy.
And I mean, a lot of the people who want to do that, if you want to film something, the problem is you've got all that, but you said, well, I want to film myself doing this, and you've got nobody to do it. Whereas that one just follows you, and that's the main thing you want to have happening. But you can imagine you can do a lot yourself for that price.
Sure.
Film yourself just walking down a street and just throw it up, it'll just follow you and do a really good shot without having anybody to do that for you. But I just thought that was a very good product. It says it's on I think it's a Kickstarter program. I'm not too sure if it's out there yet. But
I always worry about those because they go, it's going to be out in 2017? 2016. Now, me, I don't invest in products like that because half the time they never show up. So you just don't know. I'm not the most confident in that because I've seen way too many tech products do things like that, and at the end they don't have a product. That's what happens with when you go to some of the trade shows. They're showing you stuff that just never. That's not consumer electronics. So maybe this in CES, half the products, or 3/4, never actually make the light of day. So, you know, if you're an investor and you want to take a risk, sure, go ahead. But if you're not quite sure, you may want to wait, because the minute they start showing it, you got another person trying to do the same thing. So.
And it's a bit like the old, you know, this is the version of the old auto shows that used to be. Every auto show that you had each year, each manufacturer had all these wonderful cars, all the concept cars.
Right.
Never saw the light of day.
No, I remember
just got people into the shows and said to fill up the show, and half of them were made out of cardboard or just clay models. But
there was one I still to this day think is gorgeous, and it was called the Ford Etna, A-E-T-N-A. Etna, A-E-T-N-A, and that was out probably in 84, 85. It was absolutely gorgeous. It had the gull wings that opened up for the door. It had a beautiful modern interior, better than what you have even today, and yet it never made it. It was designed by Giorgetto Giugiaro, who's an amazing designer. Some of the best things on earth were designed by him. But never made the light of day. I don't know what happened.
But that's the same thing with these electronics, and that's one thing I moan about being in Australia, saying we don't get a lot of the stuff. But the good thing about being here is when we get it, we only get it after it's been proven, so that we don't get a lot of the concepts where you guys do get a lot of the things that do sell them, but they've only sold 10 of them and then they die after that, or they don't work and you haven't got any support, so you've spent $600 on something that really doesn't deliver what they said it did. And with these Kickstarters, the only thing I see with them is it's sort of a license to say they don't have to give you anything back because you're investing in a possibility of it coming. I don't think you have to get a return, do you?
Right. No. We were also talking recently about taking your videos and photos on an iPhone or Android, on any kind of smartphone. Well, you came up with a pretty cool device that will actually make any smartphone into kind of a quasi DSLR. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, take a look at this. Here we go.
Hi everyone, I'm Jesse.
And I'm Jonathan.
Smartphones are equipped with advanced camera technology, but they're primarily designed as a phone and not as a camera.
So 2 years ago, we started working on this idea that we think you're going to love. A device that maximizes the camera potential of your smartphone or GoPro and produces amazing quality videos and photographs. We are happy to now finally share it with you.
Here is the Device.
The Device transforms your Android or Apple smartphone and GoPro into a handheld camera. Its lightweight, ergonomic design perfectly mimics the natural hold of a professional camera and brings it to the smartphone arena. Its eyepiece was created to use one's body as the main stabilizing force for a perfect handheld shot. The viewfinder allows you to adjust the optics to your particular eyesight and helps you focus the image with great precision, as well as calibrate the exposure even under sunlight.
If this is too light, I can put a monopod on it and I can pretend I have a low-budget Steadicam. If I'm using it at a low angle, you can add a monitor. The fact that you guys made this for other professional accessories is kind of the next step up.
The art of videography and photography requires the use of different lenses. And with the Device, you can now use your smartphone with almost any lens you choose. And for the GoPro user, we've equipped the Device with a GoPro camera mount. Now, you can use the GoPro as a regular camera and add beautiful GoPro handheld shots to all your movies. In situations where you need to monitor the picture the old way, we have also added a swivel functionality for you to be able to alternate between the viewfinder and direct monitoring. But perhaps the most exciting feature we have added to the Device is the wireless zoom and record button controller, which can be moved to the handle as well as to the main body. You can now control your smartphone without touching the screen, while getting those below the knee and above the shoulder shots that were difficult to get before.
Yeah.
It looks really cool. My only concern is what happens if in the middle of that you get a phone call?
Well, that's it. You'd have to switch it on aeroplane mode, wouldn't you? You'd be best off to do that.
Or if you need to answer
the thing
a phone call,
the thing I do like with it is one of my biggest drawbacks with any phone with the filming and picture quality. It's not the quality of the picture it takes. It's I can't see a damn thing on the normal when you're in normal daylight. Whereas that it looks like it had like the Sakudo type viewfinder that you put over it, so you could actually see what you're doing, because that's I think the only thing that takes it away from a normal full size. But as I said in my little notes, if it's not too expensive, that would be good. But if you're up to thousands of dollars for all the little bits and pieces to do that, I think I'd still just prefer.
Now, I thought this was somewhere in the 200 to 300 range, or am I wrong?
Did it? I didn't see the price, because I'm not too sure whether that, because I know that was on a Kickstarter. Yeah. Maybe the Lily wasn't the Kickstarter. This was a one that was a Kickstarter, because I know this says.
Yeah, that's interesting. It looks like a fun little toy to have. It looks also like you got to do a lot of work to get it on. I'm not sure how easy it is to really attach it and keep all the components on. There's one problem with all this. No matter how good those devices are, you still mostly are stuck with small chips on cell phones. So the capture chip is small. I have the LG G4, which has a near 1-inch chip, which is bigger than, it's equivalent to most of the typical small pocket cameras, And that does a really good job, but that's one phone. There's a lot of them that don't have that kind of stuff. The Apple iPhone does not have a 1-inch chip. And so you just go, okay, you know, are the chips going to be good enough to give you the kind of video that they showed? By the way, I don't know if it was true, but there was one scene where I saw the horse going by and you see the arches and the building behind it. I swear that looked like the Bellagio Hotel.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure if it was, but it reminded me of it. Interesting, though I don't think they bring horses in there, but who knows? It had that look.
You never know.
You'd never know. Or it was green screen.
Could be. Yeah, but it's a good concept, but I think if I'm going to go to that trouble, I might as well just have my normal camera there. And like you said, you've got your cell phone on the off chance somebody might call you as well. So
right.
It looks like it would just slide in there and slide out fairly quickly. But
you think so?
Some people have been doing with you know, the what's that Instagram app that you've got on hyperlapse for doing like time-lapse video on the iPhone, and they've been using that hyperlapse just at standard speed, which really does it like a steady cam shot, and really been making some good shots, video shots on the iPhone. So I thought that was quite.
There's some nice iPhoneography, like they call it. There's some really good stuff that I've seen people do. Now, you know, Apple yesterday, I think, announced new iPods. So the new iPod is basically the same thing as the phone, but without the phone. So you still have the same camera and everything else. So you could, if you don't want to carry an iPhone with you, you could carry it as a camera, as an iPod, if you wanted to. You know, I've had some good phones with good cameras. So I think the LG G4 I have right now probably has one of the best cameras I've had. And it looks good, but it still, I don't think, looks as good as having one of the real, like an LX100 or a power shot. It just doesn't have quite that look yet, because the lenses they don't go out as far. You don't know how nice they are. They just don't go out as far as all that. But it still looks nice. And you know, they're good toys to have. I've gotten a couple of toys. Like I had a little toy lens once, and it kept falling off. It wasn't that good. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know if I would buy it, but it looks cool.
But it's like all these extra things you can get for your cameras. Like we're going back to the HC-X-1000 that we've both got there. It's got a fantastic Wi-Fi connection to an app to do it all the manual control. But I tried it on the Android one. It's not quite as controllable as the iPad. On the iPad one, you can control all the shutter speed, the iris, everything from that. So it's really great if you're doing a one-man show. You can do, because it's so hard. Even on this Canon, I have to pop up, switch, change menus, flick it, then jump down again. Oh no, that's not quite right. If you want, whereas there you can with your phone, and you can monitor what the camera's seeing through your phone. I was trying to put it on here today, but every time I kept doing that, it kept switching off the HDMI output going in through the thing. So you can't use your Wi-Fi thing and your HDMI at the same time, I don't think. So it just didn't like it.
Right,
so
usually
got
they
to
don't
figure
let
out how. Sorry, what was that?
I said usually they don't let you do both at the same time because of the battery would go down so fast.
Yeah. But that's one thing I was trying to do. I was trying to see what I was getting on there, but I had to just look on the phone to do that. But it's just all these things that they're doing lately, so you could have that as a little monitor without any extra cost with your phone and that.
Sure.
Just these little extra things make a big difference.
They do. And again, you know, the phones are great, but look, carrying this is heavy. This is about 6, 7, or 8 pounds. You carry this all day, your shoulder hurts, your hand hurts. It's heavy. You know, you carry a phone, you can carry that for a long time. I wonder how heavy that swivel system was. Don't know.
It looked fairly light, but
it did.
Like you said, with the camera that we're showing today, ours, I don't intend to carry that one. I've already come to the conclusion that's a camera that I leave on the tripod. If I want anything else, I use my FZ-1000, but I'm taking that, and plus the shots are much better on the tripod. But I thought, no, I bought that for that. Whenever I'm going to take that, the tripod's coming with me. I might do a few handheld shots, but the majority of it, I'll leave it on the tripod, carry the tripod with me, and just set it up there. So I'll just do that all the time now with that. That makes me sound like I'm going out every day filming, but I need to get out more.
I know, don't we all? Well, Geoff, I think we are at the end of our show this week. It's gone really fast.
Oh, gee, just go quick like that. This week I've gone through with my machine. I've had the hard disk replaced, and just want to make people to just make sure you do backups. Mine did, and if you do backups, it was a breeze. I just swapped it over and then just restore it. Everything's back to normal. Not a problem whatsoever. But
and they
if you
came out
don't
to your
back up,
house, and they came out to your house to do it.
Yep, they came out, replaced it. I said, well, I don't like going into Apple stores because, like you said, wherever they are, they're always miles within the shopping center.
And you're lugging a 50-pound computer, which is not comfy. That's why I hate going to the Apple store to get something fixed, because they're never right by an entrance. You have to go in, and then you have to walk a long way to get to an Apple store. And you're carrying an iMac that's about 40, 50 pounds, and people are looking at you going, I'd rub it, but it doesn't work. So.
Well, that's what the shopping center.
I think we lost
Shopping
the
center.
There you go. Okay, you froze for a second.
No,
Yep.
I haven't now. So. But that's what I said. If they put them in the center of the shopping center, they know everybody's getting, like the supermarket, where they put the favorite things right at the back of the supermarket. So you have to, and you might see another shop on the way through. Whereas if they put the Apple centers on the outside, nobody'd see anything else in the shopping center.
Right. And I talked to a guy at the Apple store when we got two of the iMacs about a year ago. Maybe about a year and a half ago, we got two different iMacs, and the guy escorted us out to our car because he said they've had a couple of cases where people were getting robbed. And I went, okay, I don't think they'll rob me, but he's just, you never know. It's crazy.
That one at Simi, is it Simi Valley?
That's the Simi one. That's one where they told me that one.
Yeah, but that's good. At least that one's within about 50 feet of the car park, isn't it? It's not too bad.
No, it's far. It was about a block and a half walk to get to it. Yeah, it wasn't that close because they're in between two of the entrances. And so it's about a good block to get to the parking lot, and then from there you've got to walk to wherever you parked. It's not that close. And so I carried both of them, and it was, by the time I got to the car, I was going, I can feel it a bit. It was carrying like 80 pounds.
Yeah, you think you pick, this isn't heavy, but when you've got to go walk a mile with it, it's very heavy. And then if you've got it, they're so thin, but they bite into your hands because it's so thin to carry. So, but fortunately, I don't have to do that too often. So.
No, same here. But I wish they had a better way to do repairs. I like what they did at your place. At least they showed up and did it at your place. So that's great. Maybe they do that here. I have to call them still.
And they were great. You phoned up, did that. They set a time. They came. It was on time. It was no hassle. All done. Very efficient. So you couldn't complain about the service you get.
No. So now they put a new drive
with the Mac. I just get the service, and it's all done correctly.
So now they put a new drive in, which will probably break instantly, whereas the old drive would have worked for 10 years.
Well, we'll just see.
I hope
we'll
not,
see.
but I'll be in the same boat as you soon.
Yeah, but they don't replace a drive just for the sake of it anyway.
No,
there must
they
be
don't.
some issue with the drive. But hey, I have no problem with that. It's a quality control thing. They do it. They get it sorted. And I've never had any trouble with any of my Macs. So, that's why I don't mind paying the money for them. I just switch them on. They work until I replace them. Whereas I've had a number of other machines that don't tend to go as smoothly.
That's true. Well, Geoff, another show, another no dollar. We don't get paid for this. For all you people who think we're making a fortune out here, think again.
We're spending a fortune. We're not making a fortune.
That's right, because while we're here, we're not buying.
That's right. That's good saving.
Yes. I have to bring my iPad in here, and so every time you show a product, I want that, because let me buy it right here, right where we're on the show.
Well, I've seen Leo Laporte do that on the show, and he's actually bought things while
really?
Oh, sugar, I've actually bought that instead of looking at something.
I know. You know what gets me? I've bought books more than once sometimes because they change the covers on them, and I go, that looks like an interesting book. And I get home, I go, I have that book. It's a new cover. Well, at least it held my interest twice. So, I like your line the other day when you sent me a note that says, it's a good thing you don't change your women as much as you change your gear.
That's
I've been married 31 years, so yeah, you're right. After 31 years, gear is all you have.
Anyway, we better leave it there.
Yeah, we'll leave it there. Joking. Just kidding, honey. Anyway, well, for all, not all of you, for you in that chat room watching this right now, you must be subscribing. But tell all the people you know who aren't to subscribe, because otherwise we don't have enough viewers. And we want more people to enjoy what we enjoy, which is gear, fun, and tech. So we will see you guys next week on Tech Down Over. Geoff, till next week. Have a good one.
Bye for now.